So it's really interesting to me that Germany, for example, is supposed to be one of the places in the world where it is the hardest to make friends.
Why?
I don't know.
I don't agree.
You don't live in Germany.
There is a theory in psychology that goes, if you do something with a person that's kind of harrowing, scary, or incredibly novel, they keep it in their brain a little bit longer. So one of my most successful dates ever was go-karting.
All right.
Yeah, it was like our first date and we went go-karting and I thought it was a horrible idea, but I really wanted to go go-karting, so we did.
So it was your idea?
Yes. Of course it was my idea.
Well, that sounds more like a guy's idea.
Thank you.
It's like, hey, I want to do something romantic with you, honey.
Let's go go-karting.
Let's go go-karting. Like, give me flowers and take me to a fancy dinner.
As that random song says, I can buy myself flowers.
Yeah, good luck with that.
I hate that song so much. Anyway.
Me too.
So, things I thought you could do on a first date is go-karting, because again, it's that like pumped adrenaline, kind of scary, and it's remarkable in a way. Or I thought here in Munich you can do what they call a Klettergarten. It's basically like you can abseil like little flying foxes, not as big as we have in South Africa, but like flying foxes.
Ziplines.
Yes, ziplines. They call them flying foxes, I don't know. So you can climb up things, there are like different things. There's even a door, but it opens to you, and you're on a tightrope.
Yeah.
And I think this is a wonderful like bonding experience for a first date with a friend.
Does it have to be a first date though?
It can be a forever
I mean, I
date.
can imagine just you go for coffee first.
Why would you do that?
I don't know.
Jump in.
There's definitely some people who I encounter and I'm open to anything, right?
Yes.
So I don't
Take me anywhere, Jean-Pierre.
Yeah, like I don't want to be romantic. I don't know you, like I just want to get to know you. So maybe like a coffee first and then go do something else. Because I kind of feel like maybe having just a coffee or something just normsies and then figuring out what that person, I think that's more romantic, figuring out who that person is and then doing something that was kind of like hinting towards what they were saying in the conversation.
Oh, that's a very smart way of approaching it. Or you can do what you really do in real life is I take them to my favorite ice cream place in Munich. That has the best ice cream. But it's also across a graveyard. So then I'm like, ice cream. And then I take them to a graveyard. And if they can just be like cool about it, I'm like, this will work.
Ice cream in a graveyard?
Yes, because graveyards here, it's not like in South Africa. The graveyards here are like well maintained. They're really beautiful. The gravestones are lovely.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a weird experience. And I kind of like it. I like to see how people react.
I'm whispering right now. Not how you. So you're using it as a filter of weirdness?
I don't know. Let's see what happens in this.
Don't you think it's to some extent taking someone on a first date to graveyard is kind of a filter of? Yeah, I think you're filtering off a lot of people who might be interesting.
I have never lost a date in a graveyard.
You've never lost a date in the graveyard?
Yes.
Fair enough.
Because I was like, no, but this is also... No, but also like, think about it this way. If it goes wrong, we're already in a graveyard.
So you should scare itself.
Just like, oh no, they tripped. Bye.
Oh my goodness. I would have never thought about the graveyard.
No, but it's just because it's close to the ice cream place and you need to go through the graveyard to get to the Ehlers. And then I was like, actually, this graveyard is pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea to go, the first thing you do is a date. I wouldn't classify it as a date. I would rather go, well, you seem interesting. Would you like to go for coffee?
Even if you're in a work interview.
No, I'm kind of talking to myself, but yes. Yeah, relationships. Anyway, so just try to figure out who that person is first, because maybe they're very physically attractive to you, or you strike up one good conversation, but you don't know them. You don't know what they stand for. You don't know what they... So then going from having a conversation to jumping to first date that's what I'm saying. Like, I think a date is fine, but a first date implies that that's the first thing you do. And it's also why you want to limit it to being a date, because that implies some sort of romanticism. Maybe it's just maybe initially you seem romantically interested, but then as it evolves, it becomes a friendship. So I'd rather just go, let's not attach labels to it and just see, interaction, what you like, what do I like? And then is there a mutual interest? Do I think based on what the person is telling me that does it harmonize with what I feel? It doesn't have to be like we are the same, sometimes an opposite idea you might find an opposite idea what they find interesting, attractive. So when you have that first coffee, you know, you can figure out sort of,
okay, well, this person is interested in this. I've never tried this. Let's do that. You know, like Via Ferrata, for example. Let's say this guy is like some mountaineer and he likes, you know,
That's actually something I thought of for the first date, and then I was like, my brother is right with like the nice thing about a Klettergarten is like it's a couple of hours and you're still in Munich. Where like I'm like first date in the mountains is a little bit scary because then you're like out far away.
Yeah, so that's maybe you come up with an idea that you both wanted to try, you know. But if it's some, you know, if you don't understand, let's say for example you meet this person and they're like a bookworm and they don't like activity, they don't really do sport, and you don't know that, and then you think, oh, this is a great idea, let's go Via Ferrata, and then it's like this bookworm kind of like pinching to the side of her rock, going like, help me, and so it might not be the greatest idea to just like, I don't know, thumb suck it because you think it's a good idea. Like maybe figure out who the person is, try to figure out how they, you know, what makes them tick. And then if you see something of like that part that you might want to be interested in, then you just say, hey, let's go do this. You know, and then that might be your first take.
So, new first wave idea. What if you take like a survival with the checklist? So, Richard, do you like cats?
Maybe, I don't know, maybe you reach an age where you just go, okay, let's just get it over with. Like, let's just run through the checklist. You run through your checklist, I run through my checklist. But I think if you're younger, like in your 20s, early, you know, late teens, that sort of thing, I think you're starting to discover yourself. So it's also about explaining yourself to wonderful people. I don't know, that's much over.
Yes,
I know it here.
You need to discover yourself, expose yourself.
Yeah, expose yourself. No, don't expose yourself.
What do you think about things like the per country I visited, things that people do together? So one of the things I think goes for everything is visiting parks.
Well, so that's gonna.
That makes me so fucking good. You can flush drugs in the park.
Yeah, you're gonna step on some needles. Be careful you go in parks in South Africa, but other countries, yes.
I have for Korea going to like day tours. Like there's a Hawaii village. It's like an ancient village. That's very cool. Kentsugi, what is that place in the Netherlands?
Also very religious and new.
Yeah.
Like Giton.
Yes, like Giton. Something like that. Because it's, you know, short, fun, could be interesting.
A lot of them are, because I also get the feeling Giton, especially when it's good weather. Oh my goodness. It's just that like the Chinese buses just arrive and then.
Anyway, sticking to Korea. Noreban? Do you remember what Noreban is?
Noreban.
Noreban. It's basically like, okay, I think this is way cooler than actual karaoke because it's just you and your friends in a private room singing.
Oh, that, yeah, I did that with a bunch of Russians.
Yes.
It's really interesting. Really cool. Yeah, no, I would do that.
100%.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But maybe a third date.
But yeah, that's more of a group setting, right? If it's like a date.
Then you get to
one person sits down, listen to the other person sing, and then they switch.
It could be romantic.
I mean, obviously, I would say that would be like a small group activity, right? So it's more in a smaller group, and then, but maybe that's then the opportunity to get closer to somebody.
You light up my love, Suzanne, you agree?
Yeah. Just practice a lot before the time.
Maybe.
Goes a viral coach.
If you want to do
sing.
1-to-1, you can do DVD bound.
Drop the
So, same as a Norebar, but it's a private cinema, which literally is the size of like you to me right now doing service about a meter, right? It's just, yeah, that's about it. This is like a little sofa. DVD bound. But I think we're getting into romance now.
And I really like that idea. Like a DVD box.
Private movie theater.
And because, you know, if it gets uncomfortable for you, just walk out.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Oh, I forgot my cat in the washing machine. Come on.
No, but also, I mean, if it's a romantic type of interest, if you could see it as like a romanticism, that kind of might be a good segue, you know, to take the first step.
I've chosen some room with me.
Is them a kiss? I don't know. Because it's very comfortable with, you know, just chilling together.
Interesting.
Because if you're doing that with like the fox flying, whatever you're talking about.
There will be no hand holding.
There's no kid tripping and like, spraining an ankle or something,
Remember that.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a very, comfortable space to kind of get close there,
Unless you get trapped in the net together.
So maybe the question is, what is your outcome?
Only.
What do you want to achieve?
That sounds very businessy again. Oh, you actually said something last night, and I made a note of it here. You also need to think about where the person is right now. So for you, maybe something like Kentsugi makes sense as like an activity to do with a friend.
Yeah, that's a good one.
What is Kintsugi for the people who didn't know what it is?
Oh, I'm not a Japanese person, so I might be butchering this. So kintsugi is essentially a type of art where you take broken pottery or any type of ceramic, maybe even glass, and you try to mend it with glue, but then you use a lapis to highlight the cracks instead of trying to mend it and make it seem as if it never existed. You kind of highlight the crack with a type of golden lattice or silver lattice, and then it becomes the artwork in of itself. You're highlighting the imperfections in a way. So that's obviously like very symbolic to life as well. So that's something I'm actually gonna try in a few days.
Yeah. What about playing Legos? I work at that.
I will do that because I love Legos. I would tell you do that for first dates. So yeah. Yay!
Should I take the
100% approved from myself, but I don't know. Obviously, the thing is, I don't know if maybe I'm stereotyping there, but do women enjoy Legos? Is men not?
I as the speaker for all women in the whole world,
Yes.
would say absolutely yes.
You are the ambassador.
I am the ambassador. Look at my dress. I am the ambassador to the
You
female.
best sit on the floor and play some Legos?
There are like cat cafes in Munich, I think, or if it's the weather is good enough, you could go to like
I have cat cafes here.
yeah.
We should go out.
It's called the Katzentemple.
Cats and
But you can't play with the cats. Like that comes to you. There's no like
the cats. No.
yes. What do I have? Oh, I have axe throwing, opera, and hiking. All in one day. No.
Yeah, axe throwing is a good one. No.
Even if you're very bad at it.
Yeah. Well, I think, for example, in Amsterdam, giving sort of a history tour, maybe, for example, it's internationals. So, yeah. So, when I had family over and guests over, I would kind of tailor my tour of Amsterdam because you can't see everything. I would tailor based on their nationalities. I've also, for example, in South Africa, luckily there's local connections. So I would just, one thing I did that you can maybe translate to a date is for my cousin. I basically created like Dutch bingo. So I created a bingo card that said like, do like a Dutch person, and what does it
Keep it away from me. Do it like a Dutch person, speak like a Dutch person, eat like a Dutch person.
Yeah, so it's like food, things they say, things they do, so like cycling under the, underwater.
Yeah. Through a museum.
Cycle through a museum.
Swear at other cyclists.
Yeah, swear in,
In Dutch.
in all kinds of sicknesses towards someone else.
That's yeah.
Yeah, and order something in Dutch. So just do things that Dutch on everyday basis do that they don't even notice is very unique. Because there's a lot of things that Dutch people do that are very unique.
Do you wanna put like make the bingo a card thing so we can put it in this video?
Yeah, I should have it somewhere.
Next.
Yeah, and then essentially when they got X amount of crosses, they won a prize. So it also makes it a bit competitive. It makes them like really integrate.
I feel like that's bad. That's just looking for trouble.
They're looking for trouble.
Oh, actually, now that I see on the thing, in Korea, I think one of my best days with a friend is we just went onto the roof where you and I played guitar.
Okay.
And we just sat there the whole night and just talked and looked at Korea and like that's it.
Or find some spot.
We just sat there and talked and talked and talked. And it was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you discover yourself through that those times.
Then I left him on the roof because it was an anti-date. No, I didn't. Although it was very funny. Because here, and I think you have the same in the Netherlands, if you shut the door is shut. You cannot get back in.
Oh, gee.
And I have never seen a door, because we don't have that in South Africa. Doors open and close. You have to lock a door for it to lock.
Yes.
And let them slam shut. And he completely freaked out. I was like, fuck, like, scheisse, what just happened? And I was like, wait. Poor guy. Now I understand his panic. Usually, oh wait, actually, in that place where there's axe throwing, there's also laser tag. Which is amazing.
I just I don't know if that's a good first date. You're not really spending time together, right?
Yeah, fair. You're shooting at the other
Play
person.
lasers in a dark room and you don't know who the other person is.
Like, get to know them.
Hey,
Do you like Jimi Hendrix? Pew, pew.
maybe if you don't like the person you had for a first date, because then you can just hide from them.
Wait, let's. I want to pivot real quick. Where do you take people you don't want to? Like, you're like, I want to secretly kill this friendship or romance. Where do you take them? Do you ice cream and like
Oh, well, and there's many things that come to mind. I don't know, like
anti-dates?
especially when they're like lactose intolerant, you just take them to like some sort of a cheese making,
Wow.
you know.
I was just like tapping to the Stasi Museum in Berlin.
Or a fish market.
The fish market.
Yeah. Smoked salmon or some smoked. Yeah, you go to some fisher village. And then they're like, oh, I come here, I need to make this.
Again, this is for friendship. But I guess that also... That's actually, wait, no, we said like you want to ruin the friendship. Yes, then...
Yeah.
Well, what if they're into that?
One thing I almost ruined one of my friendships is they took me fishing in the Netherlands.
Oh.
It was terrible. It's not actually a natural lake or something. It's just some farmer that dug some holes in his backyard. And then they have like these ponds where the fishes don't bite because everyone just has their lines in. So this fish are just like, well, I'm just going to wait until they feed us. Oh, so like, I didn't catch anything. Okay. So it's essentially, you're right, there's an entrance, and then there's just holes everywhere with like fish in them. But it's a small, like, it's a very confined space, right? Yeah. And I was very disappointed. I'm used to fishing like next to an actual lake or a river and having like a barbecue and like having a drink. Like you can't even have a drink there. Like it's just
Is it you and the fish?
you on the fish. Like give you a net and they give you a fish stick or a fishing rod.
If you're fish stick, you're like, you're gonna get hungry, you get a fish stick. Wow.
Let's see. You could take them on like a 2-hour drive and listen to like the most horrible music of most boring podcast.
Yeah. That's a good one. But what boring podcast?
What boring podcast?
The Lord of the Rings, read by Stephen Hawking.
Okay. What else? There has to be bad things, dude. You could take them walking in Germany and then walk very slowly.
I think we're falling off a cliff here. We need to have better ideas.
Anti-jokes. Anti-jokes. We need anti-dates.
Anti-dates. Oh, there must be a lot of...
I know. Like, how do you put people off? No. Ooh, you take them somewhere and then you just talk. And you don't split them like, you're just like, me.
yeah, me talking. Hold up.
It's like,
Hold on.
it's like,
You make sure you know what their political affiliation is, and then you just, even if you don't, if you agree with them, you just buzz it really hard in the other direction.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah.
If you really see what their religion is, you got the other bit.
That's hardcore.
What else do we have?
Okay. First, real dates, romantic dates. As I have this beautiful bouquet of flowers that I made, or flowers that are not dying. But real date ideas for first dates. I think picnic is a good idea.
Picnic, yeah, these open air lead things. I don't know if you have it in Munich, but
We do, but I don't know if movie is a good thing for a first date, because then you don't actually talk to each other. Unless you think they're very hot, but they have like an annoying voice.
so another said I mean, it's not that you have to talk all the time, right? It's just about being in each other's space and
Feel each other.
trying to feel comfortable with that, right? Seeing if you feel comfortable with that, right?
Torture.
Yeah.
Torture, especially if I really like that person. I'm just gonna like feel them close to me, and I'll just be like vibrating from sheer like panic.
Well, maybe that's
Too much crushy energy.
could be. I don't know. Maybe that doesn't work for you. Yeah, that doesn't work for you.
No, it does not. Do not take me on first dates to movies.
Yeah,
Shooters.
Have an interesting hike or an interesting sort of nature area. That's your best.
What about the pony park or the fancy horses thing in Amsterdam?
Yeah, we went there recently, friends. It's where the rich people took their horses. So you can go for a horse ride or you can get a lesson. But it's just, running in a circle on the horse, and then they teach you how to operate the thing.
So, operate the horse. First, you have to get scared. First, you switch it on. Nee, dat is weer and it goes...
And then it started. And and then there's also some tea that you can drink there. You can also feed the horses if you want to interact with the horses.
Oh. Do you have geocaching in the Netherlands?
Geocaching?
Yes. I hope I'm saying that right. Nerds, please help me. It's basically like there are little treasure hunty kind of things hidden all over the forest.
I'm sure there should be.
And then you just find them. That's how to try it.
There should be something.
I think you would love it. I think that would be a good first day for you. Scales are like, but it's like an escape room, but you don't escape. You're just like, must find next clue in the puzzle.
And I think escape rooms are also fun.
Oh, you're here with smart people or with very dumb people. Actually, it's more fun as dumb people because then you're all like,
well, you go to the escape room yourself and then you figure it out and you pretend like you're dumb. Oh, that's fun.
I don't know.
Like you figured it out and then you do the puzzle and then she's like, oh, you're.
Oh my gosh.
No, don't do that.
And then 3 years later, she's like, you told me you are not the worst embarrassed. You're supposed to be this smart on. What are we doing? Exactly.
Just leave it there.
Leave it there.
Yeah, so maybe this, I don't know, type of an art gallery or
That would be nice.
yeah, some for sort of the interactive art museum.
Make art together?
It's art workshops,
That sounds cool.
arts and crafts workshops, and
I can't think of any other date or entity. Oh.
Hmm.
So, what are you going to do on your next date with a friend or potential friend?
go for coffee.
Give her coffee.
I have. I was thinking of. This person is actually having a birthday somewhere this week, but I don't know when. And I have 2 books that might help her with her experience that she's going through. Just discovering herself, figuring out what to do for the rest of their lives. I have 2 books that I want to present and say,
Fit your life together, woman.
no, just be pop.
Which 2 is of the red book?
And then I'll write in a book. So it's the Red Book by Colleen.
Mhm.
And what's that, Man's Search for Soul? Or
Soul Search for Man.
also called Yuck.
Nice.
Man in Search of His Soul, or something like that. Modern Man in Search of His Soul, something like that.
Okay, Fuji. Final thoughts. Of everything we discussed, which first date idea appeals to you most? For friends.
For friends.
Yes. So I want romance and friends. So first friends.
Friends, I would say the karaoke thing and the drinking. Yeah.
The drinking.
Yeah, you just get wasted and just do karaoke. Best experience ever.
Okay.
Dates. I would try to do something unique, Maybe some sort of arts and craft that's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I think like a Kintsugi type of workshop,
And then your hands touch the vase at the same time, and you're like, it's a fish. Oh no. Oh my goodness.
It touched me.
Consensually.
Consensually.
Because it's important.
Accidentally, but I consented.
Exactly. It does it.
Woohoo.
You. Say bye, Teddy. Bye,
Let's speak for him.
Okay.
Speak for himself.